Hello, thank you for joining me today. This is Jen Morgano, an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in North America from Long Island, New York, from cardandmum.com. Today we're going to be making this shaker card using the vintage Christmas stamp set and the vintage bottle punch. Definitely one of the first things I got from the annual catalog, and I was so excited that there was a product in the new mini that coordinated with it. So today we're going to be using some shaded spruce, aka my favorite green, and some painted Christmas designer series paper with different color lighter greens and the shaded spruce for a more muted type of holiday card. So you're going to start with your card base of shaded spruce. That's going to be 5.5 by 8.5 and scored at 4 1/4. Your DSP panel is going to be cut at 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. So it's going to have a very small border around there. You're going to have a scrap of basic white that we're going to stamp and crop using a stitched rectangle die. And we're also on the back of here, which we'll see as we start to assemble the card, use a scrap of basic white and a window sheet. So let's start with the stamping. And take your scrap. The first thing I want to do, because it's kind of the most important part of the placement, is use the vintage bottle punch. Cut that out. So you're going to kind of center it on your basic white. And, oh, goodness, punch it out. Okay, and you can save this. I'll show you later for that little sentiment that we're going to put on there. So once you have that shape cut out, you're going to come in with your flowers. And I use soft seafoam for my flowers. And again, this is using the vintage Christmas stamp set. That's this guy here. Ooh, do you see my ring light? I do. So vintage Christmas. This is in the July to January mini that just came out. And we're going to be using all of these. The pine cones kind of give it that holiday feel, and this bottle. So I'm going to kind of tap, tap, tap. Press down with some good pressure. It's a photopolymer stamp, so you want to make sure all that ink transfers. Okay. Our soft seafoam. I then come in with the pine cones with early espresso. This is the tricky part of the stamp set. You have to line everything up. So I don't know if you can see, there's like the insides of the flowers. You're going to want to line those up. So the smallest guy goes up here. Ooh, and with the camera and the glare, this is kind of tricky, but I'll give it a go. And as I told some of the ladies, we made this in my stamp camp for July. If you mess up, you can always flip it over. Okay, here, and then I'm going to come in with shaded spruce and add a little spray of leaves to the side. Again, you kind of have to play with it to line it up. There you go. I also used, just to add a little bit of fun to the inside panel, which is going to be a piece of basic white for the inside of the card at 4 by 5 1/4. This little berry with a spray of leaves. In shaded spruce, just into the upper and lower corners for just a little something in there. Okay, so once you have this stamped, I took my stitched rectangle dies and I used the third one in, and I'm going to crop that out. Okay, so it kind of gives a nice little border to your item. So I'm going to walk over here. You can't see me, but you can hear me, to my Stampin' Cut and Boss machine. I will work on getting a bigger space so I can include everything on my table. Okay. Run that through. I'm going to bring it over. Da-da-da. There we go. So it always comes out easy, this larger piece. You save that for something else. Just kind of want to wiggle it out there. There you go. Okay. So now the next part of assembling this card is to put the shaker elements in. So this is fun. Stampin' Up! Released the vintage bottle shaker domes to coordinate with the punch, and they are perfectly sized to fit in there. And what I like about these is that there's adhesive on both sides. So what you're going to want to do first is peel off the top adhesive. So where it's bowed out, you're going to take off that layer. Kind of lay it down and just position that over. Voila. Now you're going to flip it over. We're going to be using the effervescent elements. Love these. Love them so much. They're fun. Just take a few. Whoops. Oh no, I missed them. They're everywhere. Ooh, do you hear them? I can hear them. I don't know if you can hear them. I'll find these later when I'm like, ow, what did I step on? So you just want to fill that in. And there is an adhesive part on the back. Now, a tip I saw back with the last mini catalog that came out, I believe it was demonstrator Amy Condors, said, you know what, it's always a pain in the butt to try and line things up. You can't see. If you wanted to put a stamped image behind here, she uses a window sheet. And this is something I do with all of my shaker cards now that have domes. You'll peel the adhesive off here. What I did was I took a window sheet, I think it's about 2 by 3, just laid it over. It's going to stick nice and seal those elements in. So now you can do whatever you want when you're making your card. Now I did have, if you can see, the image back here. How did I do that? I'm going to take kind of the same size of the window sheet, maybe 2 by 3-ish. And in mint macaron, I stamp that image kind of towards the bottom, because I don't want really any overlay sticking out. Okay. What you can do is, using your adhesive of choice, I'm going to use a little Tombow. You don't have to do sound effects. I'm used to humming to myself all the time. And kind of pick that up. Smush that into where it belongs, where it lines up. So now you have that. Easy crime, right? Perfect crime, easy crime, perfect crime. Okay, so let's assemble the front of that. And this is a painted Christmas DSP. It did come out last holiday catalog, and I was so excited to see that it carried over because it really was one of my favorites. There's a lot of really nice colors and images on there. I thought this worked perfect because of the colors. This piece worked because of the colors, and these little sprigs kind of match what I put on the inside. Okay, so you'll tear that down. Tear this down. Right in the middle. Boink. Now before earlier I said you can save this little bottle punch out. In mint macaron I also stamped the little happy holiday sentiment that came with the set. Perfect, right? Waste nothing. Then you can just fussy cut that out. Well, I guess it's kind of good to hoard my craft supplies. I did cheat at my stamp camp, and I used the old retired 3/4 circle punch to do this part. But fussy cut works just as easy. I took some glue dots. I made a little tiny bow out of linen thread. I took a glue dot and adhered it to the neck of the bottle. Then I took another glue dot, put it right below that. And I put the little sentiment. So it kind of looks like it's hanging from a tag. Cute, right? Who doesn't love a shaker card? Now, how do you mail these, right? You can Now, the little trick that my upline, Donna Wicks, taught me, and actually works, I can attest to this. You go to the post office and you simply ask them to hand cancel. You can write it on the envelope too. Please hand cancel, so they won't run it through the machinery and crack that dome. I've actually received a few birthday cards from my fellow stampers using the mason jar shaker dome and the bubblegum shaker dome from the last mini catalog. What a fun treat to open it up. Of course, I'd be paranoid, so I will admit I'd probably give this by hand to someone. So I hope you enjoyed this video tutorial. Drop me a comment, ask me any questions. I do have more detailed instructions. I'll put the link below in the description on my blog, www.cardandmum.com. So I have fun crafting. Thank you for joining me, and I look forward to making some more cards with you in the future. Bye, guys.